Alright then, My Hero Academia Season 7 has come by for some reason on May 4th of all times, but I guess it was gonna come by at some point. So, what did we learn from this episode? Star and Stripe, her ability is kinda broken as hell. I mean, yeah, it has the limitation of she can only do two rules at a time, but I mean, whenever those rules are kind of flimsy as hell, you can do almost anything. At that point, it's literally the limits are up to your imagination. Now, granted, the rules, as All for One was basically speculating, is with normal people, it's a lot more difficult than with like inanimate objects, since that's when inanimate objects can kind of start doing crazy stuff. But it's still based on your imagination on how you use the ability, so it still falls in this category. But aside from that, I can't help but just like it. It's like, this is one of the fights that unfortunately we don't see a lot of her after this fight, because we all know that the final arc isn't gonna start with Shigaraki getting killed, but it is still fun just watching him just get pummeled all over the place. Since it's interesting in this case that Shigaraki and All for One are still fighting amongst themselves, because there was something where she had him dead to rights. However, due to the fact that it's not even Shigaraki or All for One, at least it's not even known which of the two it is, then yeah, I can see the ability not working. Anyway, so going back to this main episode, there are a few things I did bounce around a bit at the beginning, but there are three big things that caught my attention, aside from just Deku basically kind of just finally calming down and having a chance to rest after all the shenanigans that happened last season. Number one, I like where Spinner's story is going to go, because for now I have just remembered they did capture Redestro, which means one of the voices is down for the normal Liberation Front, and it honestly makes sense for Spinner, because so far he's just been a cosplaying Stain, and it's not really unique to his own identity. And even during the My Villain Academia, there wasn't a lot of him actively doing much compared to his comrades. So having him finally have something that is unique to him is good, because I mean, he isn't, say, one of my favorite villains, but I actually do enjoy seeing him have something to do, basically. Something that makes sense within his character. Since he's a heteromorph, so, the whole racism plot, I guess, coming up, that's one. Number two, All for One, viewing Stars and Stripes has a genuine problem. So here's what I think. If Stars and Stripes joins the heroes in their battle, then, I mean, at that point, you could call it a win for the heroes, because her ability, as I was explaining earlier, is pretty damn busted. So having that with One for All combined, you could technically have the most broken team of all time. And number three, just literally the fight itself. Having the explanation of how the Stars and Stripes work, since we rarely ever see her backstory, which is interesting that All Might, while he was a exchange student, and went to America and did a lot of things, inspired Star and Stripes to become the way she is. And it just goes to show how All Might is quite literally one of the most motivating characters in the entire series. But main point is, we get them battling against Shigaraki. Star and Stripes basically said that, yeah, after this, your hero license, your license is going to be revoked. But she doesn't care. She is there to help people, and that is all that she cares about. So she does a bunch of cool abilities, with one that honestly, if it's strong enough, it could have killed Shigaraki. The only reason it doesn't is because obviously plot armor is going to protect the villain as well in this particular scenario. But even then, it is still nice to kind of think of, this could have worked. But overall, a very fun little startup to the season.